On behalf of the WCA and the college, welcome. Welcome alumni, staff, friends of the college, faculty, and Dr. Jonathan Gibralter. We'd like to extend a special welcome to our award recipients, Christie Perfetti Williams, class of 2000. And Miriam Rakib, class of 1997, who is not able to join us, but she's doing some important work that you'll learn about a little later. So Hallmark Dining Services will call you by table to the buffet, and then we'll resume with our formal program after we've had a chance to have a bite to eat. Thank you.
Always a pleasure to come to the college and see old faces and new faces and to see all the exciting things that are happening here. And a big congratulations to Christie and Miriam. It's just so, fills my heart with joy to be so proud of my Wells sisters. So with that said, let us take a couple of seconds just to breathe deep, to enjoy this time together, to be thankful for this time together, to be thankful for this food and for this company and for this wonderful place with 150 years of wonderful history, amazing memories, and much more to come. So I invite you just for one moment of silence. And in the spirit of love, may we celebrate Wells, our Wells sisters and brothers, all those who came before us, and all those who will follow us. Namaste, God bless, salam, shalom, and may the force be with you.
Good evening, everybody. What a wonderful opportunity to have you back here for the celebration of two very special alumna of Wells and for our 150th anniversary celebration. It's really nice to have you here. You know, we're so proud of our alumna and alumni here at Wells because they represent the very best of Wells and they share it with the world in big and small ways. In 2014, the Young Alumni Award for Outstanding Achievement was established to recognize the achievements of recent graduates. While honoring these current accomplishments, the award is given in the name of an extraordinary person each year selected by the alumni. This year's award is in the name of a truly extraordinary alumna who I had the honor and privilege of knowing. This award, the 2018 award, honors the memory of Nancy Wenner Witmer, class of 1961. Nancy was just one of those people whom everybody universally loved. All throughout her life, she maintained a steadfast commitment to her alma mater and to her fellow 1961 classmates and to advancing the college's interests. In fact, her husband Bob is here tonight, and before Bob found his way over from main building, one of Nancy's classmates came and shared a note with Bob for the 9 or so of her classmates who are here this evening. Nancy graduated from Wells with a degree in mathematics. She joined the Board of Trustees in 2012 as an alumna trustee, a role she performed until she retired in June of 2017. She was also very active in her own community of Webster, New York, having volunteered for the Parent Teachers Association, the Webster Arboretum Association, and many other organizations. You know, as we gather here tonight, I realize that it's only been 1 year since we had to say goodbye to Nancy. You know, I remember hearing stories from family that gave evidence of some of the true charm that was so central to her character. Her grandchildren will never forget her headstand on her 75th birthday. And the many trips to Seabreeze, where she would accompany on all of them, on all of the rides, including the Screaming Eagle. I have to say that in the short time that I had to know Nancy as she was on the board, one of the things that just impressed me so much was her love and commitment of Wells. She never missed a meeting. And I remember well when we were searching for our new vice president for advancement, I was truly amazed because every single on-campus interview Nancy drove from Rochester to personally and be involved in every single interview. And we're so fortunate to have Craig here. Thank you, Craig. So we miss Nancy dearly, but I'm so glad that her husband Bob is here tonight, and I know that he'd like to say a few words to you all.
Thank you, President Gibralter. And I thank the association, Alumni Association, for honoring Nancy by including her name in this very important award. Nancy truly loved Wells. Nancy was not the only one in the family who went to Wells. Nancy had an older sister, Marilyn, and a younger sister, Kathy, and a sister-in-law, Judy Winter. All are good Wells alums. And over the years, Nancy was a math major here, and I will not give Wells all of the credit for Nancy's independence. However, it was certainly enhanced here, I'm sure, at Wells as a math major, and she eventually was a computer programmer and came to Rochester, worked for Xerox in their almost a secret prototype or development of prototypes that Xerox in those days, in the mid-60s, was very much involved in. And unquestionably, the Wells education and experience helped her in what was at that time a very male field. No doubt about that. But she was the star of their softball team, too. She devoted much of her energies and time to our family, and yet also found time to devote to Wells. But as our children then developed and left, she was able to devote more and more of her time to the college, and truly loved it. She loved coming back here. All of that time, she would maintain contact with some of her classmates. She had some wonderful and close friends in her class, and that was a constant throughout all of this time. And then later on, when she could come down to Aurora more often, she expanded that her contacts with the college and the people who are responsible for running the college. And she used to love to come down here and play the bells and see her friends, and was then elected to the Board of Trustees, and threw herself into that as she threw herself into everything. And as you've heard President Gibralter recite, once she took on a responsibility, you didn't have to worry about following through. So if she said she was going to help the college interview for people, she was going to be here, and she was. It was a wonderful relationship as far as Nancy was concerned, as far as our entire family was concerned. And I do thank you again for honoring her. I can always only wish that the alumni and alumni here derive as much satisfaction and joy as Nancy derived in her activities for the college and for the alumni. I think, truly fulfilled much of, well, we had a very fulfilling life, but that filled a very important part of Nancy's life, and that is to the credit of this wonderful college of yours. So thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Amy Cerand McNaughton, class of '86, and I am the WCA president. I am so pleased to present this award in Nancy's honor, which recognizes the accomplishments and contributions of the college's young alumni. According to the official award criteria, the recipients of this award should possess leadership qualities in their community, philanthropic endeavors, and chosen profession. In the spirit of the Wells College community, the recipients will be stellar advocates for the college, a liberal arts education, and a lifelong dedication to learning. Both of our recipients this evening definitely embody these characteristics, each in their own unique way. This year's co-recipients have accomplished much through their work in the creative arts and humanitarian relief, respectively, and in doing so, have brought pride and honor to our beloved alma mater. Tonight, I am proud to announce Christie Perfetti Williams, class of 2000, is this evening's first recipient of the 2018 Young Alumni Award for Outstanding Achievement. Christie embodies the essence of the interdisciplinary approach that we value so highly here at Wells. She majored in English with a minor in theater. And her academic awards includes one for poetry, writing, and dramatic expression. During her senior year at Wells, she staged a production of Carnival Girls, a one-act that featured over 50 student performers. She has gone on to a successful career as a playwright, blogger, and novelist. She is founder and producing artistic director of Carnival Girls Productions, an all-female theater company based in New York City. Her productions include The Werewolf of Washington Heights, a futuristic thriller about the disappearance of a teenage girl, and An Appeal to the Woman of the House, a drama about the Alabama freedom fighters of 1961 that was performed here at Wells in February of 2016. Prior to that, her play, No Fault, a tale about the Big D and the Big Apple, was selected as part of the New York International Fringe Festival and named one of the 10 must-see shows out of the 194 included that year. She has also written several novels, including Revolutions Per Minute, Regular Coffee, and Carnival Girls, Sadie of the Sideshow. About her collected body of work, one reviewer commented, quote, "The lovely thing about Christie's plays is that they're all about people, the choices they make, the relationships they build, how they grow and change, or perhaps even how they remain the same," end quote. The Carnival Girls has an inspirational ethos, one of positivity and mutual support, with dedication to championing female artists, lifting each other up, and bearing witness and raising our voices. These are just some of the many reasons that we are proud to honor Christie with the 2018 Wells College Young Alumni Award. Christie, please come up.
Thank you, President Gibralter, Wells College, and the WCA for this incredible honor. When I found out I had been nominated, I had just paid our babysitter $30 to watch our 2 kids for 2 hours so I could write. Instead, I sat in a Walgreens parking lot and stuffed my face with animal crackers. I didn't even have the radio on. It was just silent, except for my crunching. There was so much crunching. It had been a particularly hard week. A show I was producing was on the fritz. I hadn't touched my beloved screenplay in months, and the only thing my newly pregnant body could stomach were crackers. Lots and lots of crackers. Needless to say, I wasn't feeling very worthy of anything. And then Jennifer called and told me this amazing news, and honestly, I almost declined it. See, the only thing I knew about this award is that Kristen Schaff received it last year. And Schaff, as the cool kids know her, was a legend when I was in school and had gone on to do legendary things. And then I learned Miriam was my co-honoree, and she is a force of nature changing the world. And then I found out this award was given in honor of Nancy Wenner Witmer, who dedicated much of her being to Wells and the Wells community. And oh my word, these are 3 women whose stratosphere I don't even belong in. I'm not trying to be modest, because on the contrary, I can be quite arrogant. But I just don't feel that I'm worthy of this award, at least not yet. And I told Jennifer, through tears and animal crackers, if she decided to choose someone else, I totally understood. She laughed, but I think she thought I was crazy. But I didn't decline this award, and it's for 2 reasons. 1, because it's called the Young Alumni Award. And how lovely is that? Especially since I just turned 40 in January, and every doctor I've seen these past 4 months have referred to this whole pregnancy as a geriatric pregnancy. So yeah, the ego boost was certainly nice. But secondly, and obviously more importantly, I knew this would give me an opportunity to talk about how much I owe some of the most precious things in my life to my Wells College experience. Some of the most precious things in my life I owe to this place, including this guy who was right here, who's now chasing there. My husband, Greg, who I met when I was living in New York and working for his brother. Don't worry, it won't get weird. Greg is my love and my partner, and all the groovy stuff I do, he's a huge part of it. But I was in the city for 11 years before I met Greg. All of my 20s and my 30s, very important years, brought to me by Wells, because I wouldn't have gotten to NYC without my Kaufman Entrepreneurial Scholarship and internship granted to me by Wells, an internship that landed me my first job assisting music and Broadway producer Steve Lieber, which led to my second job assisting singer-songwriter Paul Simon. I know, right? Which afforded me the opportunity to live right in Manhattan in a very small apartment, which realtors like to call charming, others call claustrophobic, but I found heavenly. I worked all day, wrote all night, ate burritos in bed because I had no table. Before Greg was the love of my life, there was New York. And not to get all Carrie Bradshaw on you, but really those years going to readings, buying bootleg movie scripts from street corners, talking about art, living my art were magical. Tumultuous at times, heartbreaking, dream-crushing too, but a decade of experience and adventure that I wouldn't have had without the Wells catapult. Wells gave me the confidence, the connections, the lifeline to go from a small town to a big city where I didn't know anyone, but knew it was part of my destiny to be there. But perhaps the biggest, most direct influence Wells has had on my life is a little company called Carnival Girls Productions. Picture it. Fall, 1998. A young, starry-eyed college junior sits in a Macmillan classroom with a brilliant Professor Garrett as her novel-writing mentor. And let me just stop right there and say, how cool is that? Me and maybe 8 or 9 other kids writing our novels and sharing them. Even at 20, I knew what a gift this was, that my only job was to write. And I wasn't going to waste it. I wrote a novella about a young girl growing up in Oswego during World War II. I interviewed my grandmother as part of the research. I asked her about everything. They were some of the most precious conversations I ever had with her, by the way. And at some point, we got talking about makeup. I asked her if high school girls wore rouge back then. She said, maybe a bit. I asked her about lipstick. She said, maybe a little. And then I asked her about eye makeup. And she said, oh no, only Carnival Girls wore mascara. Hi, baby. Carnival Girls, who the heck are Carnival Girls? I was hooked. The following year, as a senior with a creative writing concentration, I asked Professor Garrett, Bennett, and Burroughs if it would be okay if my final project would be a collection of multi-genre work about the women who had worked in the small-town, uniquely American carnival circuit. They said yes, and I had a blast creating this portfolio. And then in the spring, I asked Professor Forbes and Goddard if I could present the collection on stage in Phipps as part of my theater minor. They said, sure, go for it, because that's how it works at Wells. If you have a will, there's a way. So I got a group of over 40 Wells students together, actors, dancers, musicians, and we made a show. I was a show woman, and officially bit by the showbiz bug. 2 years after graduation, I was living in NYC and decided to audition for a play. I wasn't much of an actor, and I certainly didn't love it enough to pursue it in any kind of career way. But I saw the posts in Backstage, the newspaper version before everything was online, calling for a blonde actress, early 20s, average build, toothy smile. And I'm like, yes, this is for me. Well, apparently a few hundred other women felt the same way. Talented, vibrant actors, eager to be on stage, crammed into a room to read for a tiny part in a poorly written off Broadway play. And the director, producer, / writer was ushering in actors, and I thought, who's this guy? This guy? What's so special about him? I could do this. And I walked out. I just walked out of the audition. And before I'd even crossed this busy Soho street, I had my phone flipped open, because that's how you did back then. You flipped open your phone. And I called Allison Winters, class of 2000. I met her while working the dish room our freshman year. She choreographed Carnival Girls our senior year, and she was my dear friend and partner in crime. And I said, I want to put up a show in New York. And barely a beat later, she said, I'm in. I collected mounds and mounds of headshots and resumes that I stuffed in a giant garbage bag and smuggled them out of my day job back to my apartment. Hundreds and hundreds of faces and names. How was I going to possibly cast this show? I said a prayer, a ritual I've done every time before auditioning for any show. God, please bring me the people I need, and who need me, and who need each other. It's a pretty powerful mantra, actually. We auditioned, we cast. I maxed out my one and only credit card with a credit limit of $1,200 and booked a former strip club turned off-Broadway theater in Times Square for a weekend run of Carnival Girls. The nerve, the audacity. Who the heck was I to do this? I want to say I was brave, but man, I was just blissfully naive and backed by the confidence and support that great parents and a great education gives. The run was a success. We extended it to a theater in the East Village, and then I went on to put up more shows, writing and producing, assembling many of the same actors and crew as I had in previous productions. A theme quickly emerged. I was writing plays about women. Therefore, I cast women and committed myself to hiring female crew, which wasn't always easy, especially 15 years ago, but they were out there. Women directors, designers, stage managers. We built it, and the caravan showed up. 5 or 6 shows later, a friend and fellow artist told me how special this collection of women was to her and how I needed to call it something. And so, Carnival Girls Productions was born. We are a company of 25 women, diverse in mind, body, and spirit, with one common goal, to express. And these are the tenets of Carnydom. We believe women should be as interesting and diverse on stage as they are in real life. We believe female artists of all disciplines should be encouraged, supported, and championed. We believe our audience is smart and hungry, and if we build it, they will come. We believe in bearing witness and raising our voices. We believe we're the ones to write the story of our own lives, history, and future. We believe in lifting each other up. We believe in sisterhood, motherhood, and humanity. We believe the time is now. #MeToo, #Time's Up, hashtag I'm with her, hashtag believe women, hashtag Carney on. Through the power of our art, Carnival Girls has helped expose audiences to a myriad of topics through the female lens, issues, stories, and feelings that are inexcusably underrepresented on stage today. And additionally, we've raised thousands of dollars in awareness for many extraordinarily important charities, including 2 organizations that are near and dear to my family's heart: the Boomer Esiason Foundation, which funds cystic fibrosis research, and One World, One Love, which helps resettle refugee families to the New Jersey area. We honor Carney of the Year, recognizing an artist for dedication to her craft and commitment to humanitarian issues, because we believe when you honor the work a woman does, you empower her and empower those around her. We also host a short play festival, more recently a short film festival, encouraging female artists beyond our group who maybe haven't had the opportunity to flex their creative muscles in a while to join us in our storytelling. After all, we are our stories. And then sometimes we just meet for mimosas and gossip. Wells College was the root of all of this. This entity, this collection, this force. To say I'll forever be grateful for this award is a huge understatement. I promise to do my best to continue to make the school and community proud, so one day I'll truly be worthy. There is one more thing I would like to add, if I haven't completely bored all of you yet. My full-time work is not as an artist or an activist or a producer. My full-time work is a stay-at-home mama. It's not sexy, and it comes with layers of guilt and grief. We are so hard on ourselves, aren't we? But my work at home with them, with these little creatures that you've probably seen running around, is a huge part of me and my story and my journey post-Wells. They probably best represent my leadership ability, my service to humanity, and my professional work, because they are my job. Motherhood is a job, and they will, God willing, carry the torches of compassion and activism better than my plays or productions ever will. Thank you for this honor.
Thank you, Christie, and congratulations. The second recipient of this year's honors is Mareem Rakib, of class of 1987. Unfortunately, Mareem could not make it to Aurora this weekend to be with us, but Mary Goodman, better known as Twitch, will accept the award on her behalf. Miriam Rakib is the founder and director of the Afghanistan Samsoriya, a nonprofit organization that implements grassroots reforestation and orchard development programs in eastern Afghanistan. The group came into being after Miriam returned to her home country to find the lush and beautiful scenery she once knew devastated by years of ongoing conflict. Through a network of nurseries and gardens, Samsoriya offers a support system giving employment and educational opportunities to the community it serves and helping to improve the overall quality of life for Afghan families. Samsoriya is a Pashto word which loosely translates to revitalization of the environment. Since its founding, the group has planted more than 10,000 trees along the Afghan countryside, helping to revitalize a region which has been devastated by more than 4 decades of war, poverty, and environmental degradation. The work that Miriam does is not for the faint of heart. She and her organization encounter many challenges on a daily basis. A few years ago, during an interview, Miriam said, quote, "Here's the reality. It's very bleak. It's very upsetting. There are so many moments of tragedy. But at the same time, we are resilient. We are humans. We don't just succumb." This is not my story. It's not Afghan's story. It's universal. Humans try to survive. We try to survive. End quote. Her commitment to bettering the lives of the Afghan people is nothing short of amazing. I am proud to order Miriam Rakib in absentia with this evening's second 2018 Young Alumni Award for Outstanding Achievement. Twitch, you want to come up and accept on her behalf?
I was just struck a few moments ago of how many people in this room I absolutely love. It's very wonderful to see everybody every time I come back here, and a lot of us come back really often. And also I wanted to say that we enjoyed so much being with Nancy Witmer here at meetings, and one time I can't compete with Christie, but one time we stayed together at the Paul Jones house, and there were amazing interactions over the bathroom there. So I'm really glad that it's been renovated since then.
That was only one night for you.
The bathroom is practically in the bedroom, and we shared it. So it's very interesting, but I loved being with Nancy when we were here. I have to try to compete with Christie. She was fabulous. I'd like Ala Al-Hashimi to stand up and wave. Ala is a senior at Wells, I'm thrilled to say, and she let some people know in the initiative to educate Afghan women, she let people know that there was an amazing young woman who was planting trees and doing extraordinary things in Afghanistan. Someone called me, not Ala, to tell me about this, gave me a long description of what this young woman was doing, and at the end he said, and guess where she went to college? And I knew that he was going to say Wells College, and I was just blown away because I didn't know there was another Afghan woman who had been at Wells. And I was lucky enough to have Ala in class and 35 other young Afghan women in class before they start freshman year, and that's been an amazing experience. And then to meet Maryam. She's just great. I've seen her in Boston a few times, and she has wonderful professor friends with whom she did her master's degree, her doctorate, and I've met them, and they find that she's just one of the important people in their lives. Wells should be proud of her presence there in Boston. She sent me some wonderful remarks, lovely and poetic. I wish they were as funny as Christie's. But it's a more serious topic that you are working on many of those too. So I will read you what Miriam Rakib sent me. She said, oh, and by the way, on your tables, you have some information and pictures of Miriam in one of her gardens, if you can pass them around. So Miriam Rakib says, I would love to accept this wonderful honor in person. However, my responsibilities in Afghanistan, Samsordia, draw me thousands of miles away to Afghanistan, where I've been very productive during the last 2 months. She goes every year or every other year for about 2 months. I'm learning about the progress of our work and collaborating with local communities to develop and expand our projects. Our tree nurseries are thriving. The children in our communities are drinking clean water, and eggs from our poultry projects directly impact nutrition. Furthermore, the nurseries and public gardens are sanctuaries for living beings.
Humans, birds, and insects take refuge within the parameters of our green spaces and among the trees and flowers. All creatures may heal from the trauma of war and strife. The work, she says, is exhilarating, of great practical value, and a source of immense pride. Positive recognition of this work is fantastic, this award. I'm grateful to Mary Goodman, our dear Twitchell, for nominating me for the award, and that is great kindness of her. Marion continues, I should also like to express my gratitude to my professors, Professor Lumumba Kasongo Takumbi, Arthur Bellanzoni, C.J. Kipp, and Ernie Olson. You mentored me with patience and respect for my intelligence while I was your student and encouraged and supported my works after graduation. I am eternally grateful to you. Thank you again for this lovely recognition of my work. I wish you all a successful semester. I know you'll agree that her Wells experience has served Marion and the world very well. And I know she'll be thrilled, I'll see her in about a month. I know she'll be thrilled when I tell her about these festivities this evening. Thank you, Wells, for honoring Mariam Rakib.
Thank you so much, Bob, Christie, Miriam, Twitchell, for coming up and receiving this award. And thank you all for coming and honoring our Young Alumni Award. It really makes this evening very special. So, can you please join us in our
Congratulations song.
congratulations song?
Oh,
Hey!
Folks, I hope that you'll be able to stay with us for our 150th anniversary celebration this weekend. We have a very big day planned tomorrow, including a parade. All right. Go for it, Jane. And a community picnic. The Syracuse Symphony will be with us, and if the weather cooperates, we're going to have some wonderful fireworks over the lake tomorrow night. Happy birthday to Wells, 150th anniversary. Thank you all so much for being here.